Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to another session of Relationship CPR, A Soulful Connection. So, as you know, all the house rules, I'm not going to go through them again. Now, last class, we started with emotional awareness, and these are some of the sub-modules that we will be covering in this module. Okay. Yeah. And we finished the shame versus guilt, and today we're going to start with sadness, which is part of, you can say, shame and guilt, and then we're going to move on from there, inshallah. So the emotion of sadness or disappointment usually has a value or a meaning, an adaptive value in telling us that we have lost something we really miss. So it's giving us an information. Questions should be addressed that lead to understanding what is lost or missing, and then validating how hard that lost must have been. So whenever you're going through sadness, ask yourself, have a moment with yourself, self reflect, give yourself some alone time. Usually what happens, sadness comes in and we want to avoid sadness, we want to go and feel other happy emotions and distract ourselves. But the real way to deal with it is to address the sadness and ask yourself, what is lost, what am I missing, why am I feeling this way, what's coming up for me, what's coming up from the childhood memories, and then validate how hard that loss must have been, instead of shaming us or telling us I should grow out of it, it's been a long time, or I'm an adult, don't be a child, don't be silly, don't be a don't make a fuss about it. All those things that we judge ourselves, and that inner critic actually judges ourselves, that inner voice that our parent and the society and the environment has put into us. So it is important for, especially if somebody is listening to you when you are sad, for the listener, or you are listening to somebody when they are sad. So respond to the sadness with empathy. If you are listening to your sadness yourself, so we have many parts within us. So have that inner critic, be empathetic instead of being judgmental. Have it say, it's okay, I'm here for you. And convey the validation without becoming defensive. So your inner critic might become defensive. No, I'm not like that. I'm not doing this. So we tend to, especially the inner critic or the ego, tends to get defensive and shut it out, or shame us, or put it under many layers, so that we cannot connect with this part of us, sad part of us. So instead of being defensive and without trying to solve any problem, you don't need to solve anything for yourself or for anybody else. Just sit with the sadness and be empathetic and say, it's okay, I'm here, I'm listening. It must have been hard for you. And ask yourself questions, or ask the other person questions, to uncover what are they longing? What positive needs are beneath this sadness? There could be like, I want to be hugged, I want to be seen, I want to be heard. I just want my parents, my mom, my dad to say, you're doing so well, just acknowledging my effort. So be your own parent and parent your inner child. Okay. Once we're saying lost something we really miss or value, ask to understand what is lost or missing, respond to the sadness with empathy, validate, and validate without becoming defensive and trying to solve the problem. That was quick and easy for a change. All right, the next one is rage and anger. So every feeling, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be non-judgmental, be empathetic, be validating, be that kind, compassionate friend we always needed, or the parent we always needed that we never got, unfortunately. Be that parent and uh, reparent your inner child. So, anger is a very primal human emotion. It's our ability to let someone know when our boundaries have been crossed. Anger is, in our culture over the last many years, has been massively shut down. It's seen as an ugly emotion, it's seen as a destructive emotion, unhealthy emotion, unaccepted in the society. And unhealthy anger is destructive. That's true. But what we do is we tend to mix up the unhealthy anger, which is rage or violence, with the functional anger, which protects us, which allow us to fight back against injustice and bring justice to society, have voice for somebody who cannot have their own voice heard. So, yes, anger is needed. Anger is telling us, I don't like this. This is my boundary. Don't cross it. If we don't have healthy anger, people will take advantage of us, and then we will be angry at ourselves and then creating a lot more problem. And when we cannot have that healthy anger might turn into rage and violence, which is much more destructive. So for a lot of females, especially, it's been seen as not done. You can't do this, and therefore it's suppressed. But for a lot of males as well, this is true at the same time, especially if the father or the mother was unacceptable of their anger when they were children. The person who suppressed their anger. Individually and collectively, emotions of anger has been pushed down so deeply within us, which means that it is coming out in more destructive ways in the society. The whole society is angry. The whole society wants revenge, and you will see that in how the movies are made, and how when we watch the movies, when there is this revenge taken, we all feel a sense of peace. We feel like as if we have won. Um, uh, some part of us finds reconciliation within ourselves, the things where we couldn't express our anger. So when these revenges are taken in the movies, we feel like our revenge, like it's like we are living vicariously through them. When we were younger, oftentimes we might throw a tantrum, we become emotionally dysregulated, which is what happens as kids. We don't know how to regulate that, and um, that's part of the process of growing up, learning how to regulate ourselves emotionally. And that's when we know how to regulate ourselves emotionally, that's part of being adult. But a lot of adults, many adults, we are living in an adult body, but we are just like a child because we didn't have those emotional growth, emotional regulation skills. So, there is a saying that goes like monkey see, monkey do. And then, there is the movie, the Tarzan, if you remember, the Tarzan, or was it, yeah, I think it's Tarzan, or there was another movie cartoon called Jungle Book, where this child was left alone or was abandoned, somehow got abandoned in the forest and was taken care of by group of gorillas or monkeys. And then Tarzan, or the other character, the Jungle Book character, Mowgli, can't remember who it was. Um, he learns to walk on four limbs. So Tarzan now walks with his hands and feet, just like the gorillas do or the monkeys do. And so like that as children. We learn what we see. If we have seen that our parents couldn't regulate their emotions, we learn that, or they didn't what you call it, model healthy emotions, model emotional regulation, we wouldn't learn that. So unfortunately, most parents who don't have the awareness and understanding, they will actually punish their kids for not being able to regulate their emotions, which is horrible, because we are punishing our kids for something um, that's impossible for a child to learn unless I show them how to do it. But I myself, as a parent, I don't know how to do it, but I'm expecting them to regulate their emotions. I would say, if they are throwing tantrums, stop it. Stop it, I say. Be nice, be good, be kind. But a child who's 2 years old, 3 years old, he or she doesn't know what being kind being nice means. That I'm asking them to do that. I myself would have hard time explaining what kindness looks like, or feels like, or sounds like, or for that matter, any other virtues that I ask them to do here. Now I'm asking a 3-year-old who doesn't have any clue, still learning the world. I'm asking them, don't show me that face. Stop crying. Don't be a drama queen, and whatnot. We have all sort of heard or got some sort of experience of those versions of that. So we'll get yelled at. We might get put in timeout, which means I don't accept you in this emotional state. That means I don't accept you being a human being, because as human being, we have all this range of emotions, including rage and anger and all these things. But I'm telling you, if you show me that face, if you show me that behavior, I'm not going to talk to you. That means stop being human around me. Suppress being human. Just behave like a robot, and then if you do that, I'll love you. But now this child grows up with so much anxiety that I cannot be myself around the people I love, or else I'll be abandoned. So now I put on a mask. I learned to put on a mask from 2 to 3 years old age, and somebody else, and then in next 15, 20 years, I'm this person, I don't know who I am. And I'm now going through this depression, and I'm suffering from something that I don't know what it is. I feel anxious, and I don't know why. And I don't know what I'm looking for. There is this huge void inside me, and that I'm trying to fill with so many distractions and consumerism and other things. All the while thinking, what do I feel? I don't know. What do I want? I don't know. What am I looking for? I don't know. So, which means that when we were younger, we'll do anything to maintain attachment to our parents or caregivers. Attachment means survival. So, we will alter our behavior, we'll alter our personality, we'll alter the God-given gifts, the dignity, the joy, the aliveness. We'll alter everything just to fit in, and we act in order to keep that attachment. And I believe it's probably Dr. Gabor Mate. He says, as children, we were given this option of attachment or authenticity. Yeah, I think those are the two: attachment or authenticity. And as children, we always had to pick attachment, because attachment meant survival. We couldn't be authentic anymore. But now as adult, whenever you are given these two choices, attachment or authenticity, always go for authenticity, not attachment. Because every time you go for attachment, you feel the fear that somebody is going to abandon you. That's that's going to happen, and that abandonment is going to happen. And not only that, you will be anxious for, like, in that relationship all the time, that they're going to leave you, they're going to leave you. But if you're authentic to yourself, then you have you. At least you have you. If that makes sense. So the child naturally learn to adapt to the circumstances, to the attachment, to shut down their emotional response. And decades later, this is where we are at. Some of us trying to kill ourselves. I know I have been there several times, not knowing who I am, and I had to go and go in a journey to find myself. Who am I? So when any child had to adapt to their survival mechanisms, coping strategies, or had to give up the authenticity, and whenever I feel like my boundaries were being crossed in life, I could only get angry to a certain point. And after that, I had to shut down because the anger was never allowed. But then practicing that enough time, now I am so pro at shutting down my anger that I can straight away skip being angry for a little while that I used to in the beginning, and I go straight away to some other emotions that I have coped myself to and avoided that anger. So you'll see a lot of people would say, you might come across that they would say, well, I never get angry. I don't know how people get angry. And they are so scared of confrontation, and, having difficult conversations or showing that they are angry, that even if their boundaries are violated, they will smile. There's lots going on inside, but they just don't know how to be angry anymore. So it has become their natural way of responding. Their nervous system is responding. They have absolutely no control at this stage that they can even bring their that smile down to a normal, like I'm sad, I'm angry, that sort of face, because they are not aware. They were not aware what they're doing. I remember when I used to get angry or ashamed, I will always be like a smiley face. Even when I was angry, I would be laughing hilariously. And I remember my ex-husband, after I got divorced, and I told him, see how you have been making me angry, and every time I told you I was angry, you didn't listen. And he was like, but every time you told me you were angry, you were laughing. So you were joking. I thought you were joking. I said, no. And every time, actually, when I told him and I was laughing that I'm getting angry, stop it, don't do it, don't do it. And I was hilariously laughing. And I told him that I'm laughing. I know you see me laughing, but I'm actually not laughing. I'm angry. So he would think I'm just joking. But now, after doing trauma healing work and everything, now I can see why he wouldn't be able to see my anger, because all he can see is I'm laughing and telling him, hey, I'm getting angry, stop it. And he thought he just took it so lightly. Yeah, and I was once working with two kids, one boy, one girl, and the boy was really being obnoxious, annoying to the girl, and the boy was like seeking attention, wanting to play with the girl, and the girl was like, leave me alone, I want to have my own time and relax. And now the boy started wrestling her, and uh, she's being hilarious, she's laughing, she's as if she's being tickled, she's laughing, and she's pushing him away and saying, go, but she's laughing. And this guy is thinking that she's playing with her. And I was watching them and I could see what exactly was happening and I could relate because a similar thing was happening in my life when I said, hey, don't do that. And even people say the pedophiles, when they would touch a girl and the girl would be like shy, and because she was never allowed to be angry and put her boundary in place, because whenever she said no, the parents said, nah, you have to listen to me, I'm the authority, I'm the bigger person, I'm the adult. So when an adult male touched her, she now thinks he's an adult like my parents, whenever whatever he says that goes, so I'm not I can't say no. Even if I say no, that's going to be rejected. So when she says no to the man, if she can ever bring up the courage to say it, what would the man say? It's okay, don't worry, child, I'm here, or whatever. The way he wants to allure her, or even scare her, or if she feels ticklish and she's smiling and giggling and say, "Don't touch me," he's not going to take her seriously. So that's what happens with rage and anger when we don't allow rage and anger as child to have that. When the child says, "No, I'm not going to eat that," and the parents shove that spoonful of whatever they're trying to feed the child, or trick them to feed the child, thinking, "Oh, I have done my task. I needed to feed him or her, and I've done my job." But what they have taken away from the child is much more precious and expensive, and it's gonna harm them more than that spoonful of whatever they're trying to feed. So letting them say no and respecting their no, it's very important, and letting them show their anger and help them, not in a way of um, destructive anger, but showing them when we get angry, how should we um, express our anger, like, I'm so angry, you're not listening to me. That's okay to say, but hitting, punching, biting, that's not okay. We have to um, you know teach our children or role model to our children, even when we get angry, instead of becoming furious and rageful and violent, we show them this is how we get angry. So yeah, this leads to so many people letting other people still step all over them, becoming people pleasers, and also leads to anger coming out in destructive ways. Yeah, so if you keep shutting down your anger 20 times a day in a row, and for next 20 years, imagine how much of a people pleaser you are today, and why you wouldn't be a people pleaser, and have that compassion for yourself. So now, when this your pot where you've been dumping all those anger is bubbling and overflowing all of a sudden, um, you know, you people please, people please, people please, and the next time you just um, explode, there is a reason why. And also, when somebody has not been doing a thing that you expect them to do, and you see it once, see it twice, and the third time you just scream, how come you're not doing this, instead of having that conversation in a calm, cool-headed way. Because remember, your anger is not about today. Your anger is about last 20, 30, 40 years, how many years you have been on this earth. So that pot have is jam-packed, and every time somebody pokes at it, the whole thing comes out, and it's like bubbling all the time, brewing. So that's all suppressed anger and rage. And that has to come out like a pressure cooker, pressure valve. And it can also come out in destructive behaviors, like alcohol use, drug addiction, affair, porn addiction, murder, rape, so many things, so many things. The more we start to, actually, I've got a new client. He was telling me because of now he has a super anger issue because all his childhood he wasn't able to show his anger or stand up against his father, and now he has been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disease and have been put into heavy medication. So he's gonna work with me, hopefully, inshallah. And schizophrenia and bipolar disease is also that trauma therapist like us, like me, we do believe that it is a symptom of trauma, childhood trauma, and it's showing up as bipolar because there is fragmentation of us. There's parts. You remember we talked about the parts, like we have so many parts and we exile so many parts because we don't want to look, because they were not accepted in our childhood. So we don't accept them now and we have hidden them so well. Now we have become this fragmented people, fragmented characters. So with somebody, today I'm somebody, and with somebody else I'm somebody else. So and then every personality comes out abruptly. So this is, and I think researchers would need to study a lot more. This is our belief as trauma therapists, to back this up. So the more we start to integrate anger, the more we can create healthy boundaries, the more we'll be able to say no comfortably, and a lot more self-respect and self-esteem will have. People are struggling with confidence, which is a lack of self-respect and self-esteem. That's because they let other people stand all over them and can't say no, which is an issue of unintegrated anger and rage. As a child, when I had, for example, or you had, or any children, they had a huge wave of anger moving through their system. They had no capability of coming out of that. Then the mom or the dad would say, go to your room, or how dare you? How dare you get angry at me or at your dad? That energy will then all contract and get stuck in the body, won't be in motion anymore, would stagnate, which will result in fawning. So when my dad or my mom screamed at me and now I'm like trying to please them, which is fawning, or I go in total freeze state. So my nervous system now, anytime anything scary happens, I freeze. I can't even move. I don't know if I've mentioned this. As a child, I was never able to, whenever something inappropriate came up on the movies, on the TV, I was never able to pick up the remote control and change the channel. I was so frozen. I felt so heavy. My hands and my feet felt so heavy. I felt like I couldn't move and they felt cold. So what happens as a result? I'm frozen in that moment, or I become a people pleaser. The alternative to this is, when a child get angry with them. Show them how to stomp their feet, how to tell off, how to let off a growl, or say, so that the energy stays moving instead of shutting down, cut off, chopped off. And don't bring in any shaming tactics. Don't tell them anger is wrong. Tell them it's okay to be angry. Tell them it's not okay to hit, to use violence, or to use mean words or say something mean to hurt somebody verbally or physically. But it's okay to growl. It's okay to stomp our feet and say, "Ugh!" do that. Show them that it's okay to do that. And that's how we move the anger through the body instead of chopping it off, cutting it down, or getting it frozen. So yeah, we don't take anger out on any other person or even creature, because a lot of the kids or even the adults, you'll see, they would hurt people, they would hurt animals, and that's not okay. Okay to feel angry though. And if your relationship with your anger is deep resistance or fear, for you it will be hard to set up to because this was set up in your childhood for this long. For you, you might feel guilty, ashamed, as Nusrat, you were mentioning earlier. Like I felt, what did you say? I felt like uncomfortable that people think I'm rude. That's because of your resistance, deep resistance to anger. You were probably not allowed to show your anger. And now you think you just raising your voice to say whatever you need to say, you feel like you were being rude. And I was there too. I felt the same way. In the beginning of my journey, I remember I used to ask my mentors, how do I tell people off without sounding rude? So I don't want to come across rude, but I need to hold my boundaries. That's what I was asking. Yeah. But the more I have worked through, now I know it's okay if people think I'm rude. If to protect myself, I have to say no strongly and push somebody away. And if they think pushing is rude, that's okay. They don't think touching me is not rude, but they think if I say stop, they think that's rude. That's okay. I'm fine with that. I can handle that now. But in the beginning, I wasn't able to. Yeah, if the things you see on the news where someone killed their family in a fit of rage, and that's all this suppressed anger, like a lit match being thrown on petrol bomb, it overwhelms their system, and then they lost control completely. They are unable to contain it, and the energy is what does the damage, not the person. You'll see, you might have heard somebody say, I don't remember what happened to me, as if something took over me and I was not myself. I had no control over myself. So basically, rage has taken over, that suppressed rage. So anger is not a destructive emotion. It doesn't want to hurt us. It is just an healthy expression to say that's your limit, you stay there. But when we don't listen to it, it's now getting bigger and bigger, and then hit us like a truck uh, has hit us, or we being the truck hit somebody. So that is the unhealthy expression of anger, which is destructive or unacceptable. If someone says something doesn't align with me and I'm able to say no, and there is no other emotions of guilt creeping up, which is I know who I am standing tall, empowered feeling, that's a good thing. That means you have learned to accept yourself, accept your anger without feeling guilty, or without anybody trying to manipulate you to make you feel guilty that you shouldn't have said this or done this or stood up for yourself. Difference between survival rage and anger is survival rage is I'm being attacked. There's this need to defend myself. And maybe I'll kill if I need to in order for me to survive, or even in order for my loved ones to keep them safe and alive. I'm ready to kill. And that's survival. And that's okay. This is very mammalian instinct, like lioness protecting their cubs. But when we are now angry and go into this survival rage because somehow my identity is threatened, or psychologically or emotionally I'm threatened, or it triggers something, some old wound in me, and then I go into a fit of anger or this survival rage, that is not proportional. Anger is just I'm angry. I'm angry about what happened. I'm angry about you crossing the boundary. But the survival rage is having the intention to kill or harm or hurt the other person, as if like I'm taking revenge of so many years of accumulated anger. Because everybody wronged me in my childhood, now you are going to pay for that. Integrated anger is power. It's what makes my no means no. It's like putting my foot down, as if someone does something and crosses my boundary. That's what gives our voice of authority, that no with an energy, and that heavy weight, that heavy gravity energy. But a lot of the time with people pleasers and people who feel guilty of putting their boundaries up, or while they were made to feel guilty in their childhood because they said no to something, they in their adulthood, their no would be very meek, like no, like very gentle, and nobody is going to listen to that no, especially people who are perpetrators and want to take advantage of you. For them, they now get a license, they now can see through you that your no do not have that gravity in it. So that gives me the permission to trample all over you. So learn to say no, that is very heavy and thick, and it's like I'm putting my foot down now. No, that's enough. I'm not going to argue on this thing anymore. So without integrated anger, your no is going to sound very much like a kitten. If you know your values and you can stand by them, you know what's right for you, what's wrong for you, and you can stand in your truth, stand for your truth without the need to project it onto others and make others believe the same thing as you. There is no need. They don't have to believe the same things as you. They don't have to believe you are not rude, you are a kind person. They don't need to. They don't deserve to see your kind side, really. You have to understand that and accept that. They are not bringing out the bad side of you. They are showing you again and again where you need to develop your skills, practice more. The day you have perfected that, you'll see they're not messing with you anymore. So this even rage or anger is also needed when we are in danger. For example, what happens when a car rolls over a child and the mother runs there and suddenly she is like has this superhuman strength and lifts up the car to take her baby out from there. That's the survival rage at play. That's the power behind that rage, and it is needed. So it is healthy when we use it where it's needed. So with the survival rage, there would be this fear of responding that way initially, but the action just happens. It takes over in the human body, and this can do incredible things. And with that power, we can do so much good, incredible good things, not just destructive things, if we guide that anger and that rage in a functional way where it's appropriate. You're being mugged, you're being robbed, you're being somebody is being raped in front of you. You need that rage. So all emotion have their functional side and then the dysfunctional side. When we have this intense emotion come out in a situation, in a circumstance where the proportion doesn't weigh up, unproportional, that's when it's improper and unacceptable. So I'm gonna leave it there today. Inshallah, we're going to continue. Let me just check how big this one. Actually, I'm gonna quickly finish this one. This one's little. The emotion of anger often results from the sense of injustice as well. As a child, you might have felt a lot of injustices done to you by your parents or by your siblings or by your teachers. And you always thought the others were given the benefit. I was never given the benefit. So that is the feeling of injustice. You were given a little lolly, your big brother was given a bigger lolly, or your little sister was given a bigger lolly, and you were thinking, why did I get the small one and why did they get the big one? How come my mom never gives the big one to me and always gives? So that's the sense of injustice. And as a child, first of all, you're not being able to verbalize that, put it into words and express that. And even if you somehow mumble it out, your parents would make fun of it, or you get scolded for that, or you get ashamed for that. So now you have a sense of injustice. That world is not just to you. And as an adult, you are now the voice for people who you seem to be they were done injustice to, and you want to speak up for them, stand up for them and serve them. And also when you watch movies or watch somebody's life story, you somehow relate to the injustice, and you are weeping and crying and something's making you sad, but you don't know what it is, and you are thinking you are a kind and gentle person crying for them, but you are actually your wound is being touched and you don't realize that. So that's what's happening. With anger, there is usually a goal that is being blocked in some way. Therefore, there is this very good information in anger. So anger is telling you that there was something that was being blocked. So what's the goal? What is it blocking? If the feeling of anger is about the person you are listening to, about you, and you are listening to somebody or maybe watching a movie or somebody's story you heard, and that is triggering something in you, it becomes doubly important for you to hear the speaker with empathy and to convey validation without becoming defensive and without trying to solve the problem at all. And as a therapist, we help you look beneath and uncover what is this positive thing that is being covered up by your anger. So yeah, what is the goal? What is it blocking? Listen with empathy, validate without becoming defensive, and solve the problem. Same thing as before, because all emotions should be dealt with in the same way. All right, I'm going to finish up here. Now, let's chat. Takeaways, questions, shares. Come off mute. Hello.
Hello. Hi, sorry.
Yeah. Videos on, mics on. Takeaways, shares, questions.
Nothing really.
What resonated with you? What's coming up for you as you listen to today's session?
Not at this point out. I'll have to think about it a bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, I thought there was a proper time today that we discussed this one because what you mentioned early in the class.
Yeah, and maybe I'll talk to you when I
Okay.
talk.
Okay, yeah, you want to talk in private. All good, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
For me, I don't know, it's a bit of confusing because like whatever he said, it's like obviously we show anger because something is triggering and that's why we're showing angers. But then somehow people I don't know. So what I felt like we should work on anger, but at the same time, if we are angry, we have to show it.
Yeah. So we show anger in a way that is proper and proportionate. Showing anger and setting boundaries is needed. What is unacceptable is rage and violence and sarcasm and criticism and contempt.
I guess like I can I can understand what Taha is saying, and that's what one of the things that I was thinking as well is that, like, for example, like I'm the kind of person who don't want to give anybody any feedback or get angry or try to hold it. But then when they cross all the limit and you can't hold it, can it actually come without a rage?
No, it can't because you've been holding it for too long. You didn't say it at the first instance. You've been stacking it. So you don't hold it, you don't stack it. You say it on the first or the second instant. You just say, hey, I noticed something. You've done this in 2 occasions. I would like to discuss that with you. Why is this happening? What was your intent?
And again, I think that's where following that, the thing is that as soon as as I like the I think because of my childhood, it's very confronting for me to confront someone, even they're the one on the wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have felt it even when I'm trying to challenge my daughter with something. I'm sort of like my heart is pounding.
Yeah.
I'll wait till I can't tolerate anymore, and then I blow out of
Yeah.
proportion.
That's right. So you have to be aware when it happened the first time and you think, I'll just let it slide, I'll pretend nothing happened, I'll pretend I didn't see it, I'll pretend so that they get a chance to fix it themselves. But that never happens. You're thinking that they're going to fix it themselves. But what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure and having a blow up pretty soon. So you are setting yourself up. Now, by being aware that this is the trajectory it's gonna go, and then it's like, think of the slingshots. Somebody has brought the slingshot back, and once you release that, it's gonna follow a path. You'll not have control then. But when you see that's happening, this action happening, that's when you come in and say, I've noticed that this is what happened. I was wondering what was your intention for doing this.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can say, hey, maybe something's been happening in the past for long and you haven't taken action so far. You might go and tell them, hey, I would like to discuss some things with you when you have time. When can you let me know when is a good time we can sit down and have a chat? I'll probably need 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it may be. And I would like to discuss a few things. And then make a time to discuss that. And then say that in these occasions, I've seen this happen and it's been bothering me. So I thought I would ask you and get some clarification. What was your intention? I felt this way. Did you mean to hurt me? Did you mean to put me down? I would think you didn't, but maybe somehow I'm misinterpreting. So even if, say, that was their intention, now they become, okay, I'll say sorry, or I'll gaslight or whatever. But now, from now on, they are more careful and not do it as often, or not continue doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying. So, thank them for clarifying. So it's your duty to figure out when inside you, your nervous system is getting pulled. Don't let it go there. So now it's your responsibility, and practice those. In the beginning, those conversations are going to be very difficult, very awkward. You wouldn't want to do it because your nervous system feels threatened or ashamed because you were never allowed to do that before. And it comes with practice. The more you practice, the better you get at it. Clear? Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
No.
You guys are not letting me see your faces. Taha is like, see my forehead.
No, because I'm still thinking of it. I'm a bit of confused because what I'm thinking is like when I'm dealing with a person who already has anger issues and something is triggering me, and then I have to show my anger, and then the situation get worse.
Yeah.
So in that kind of situation, how I'm gonna handle the conflict?
Okay, so that person is getting angry. The other person is getting angry. That's not the time you talk. If they are like dysfunctionally angry. Angry is like I'm so mad, I'm so angry. Let's talk it out. That's different to showing passive aggressive anger, or throwing hissy fit or things like that. That's different. So you tell them, I can see you're getting angry. You maintain a safe distance, or whatever you need to do to either keep them calm or keep you safe. And then later on, when he or she is in a more position, in a more calm situation where he can hear you out, you can say, hey, I would like to discuss what happened between us. When can we discuss that? When is a good time for you? Because I don't think they should stay between us. I want to have a good relationship with you. Maybe it's your work colleague and you say, hey, we have to work together, so I just can't keep this grudge, and I can't have you have this grudge against me. Let's talk it out when you are more calm. Yeah. But make sure you are safe, because sometimes you have to do that. Other times you might see that you are safe, but you need to calm them down and say, I can see you are angry. Let's do some breathing. He or she might be open to that. She might get more violent. So you have to suss that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from that
All right.
conversation,
Yeah, it's clear.
you will know that is this person capable of having an adult relationship or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's
All
clear.
good.
If you have more questions, you can
Yeah.
always ask me.
Yeah.
Put it in the group, things like that. Okay. Good discussion. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. I love this.
Hafiz.